All right, what's going on? Radioman here. Little update on me teaching myself SolidWorks. Not what I meant to show you first. Started out making a JPEG on the computer. The ghost is a throwback from World War II imagery from the Americans. And then I put the text here that you can see, rule the airwaves, and attempted to put, some very basic crossed antennas in the background with the lightning bolts. As you can see, it says rule the airwaves. There's even a little bit that I omitted in my design, but a little bit of a topographical, okay, so what, big deal, you're making art. Well, part of teaching myself SolidWorks is, you're learning very basic operations here. So, which I don't know anything about SolidWorks, and I'm learning 3D printing. So you're learning things, and I'll show you this image here. Is if I roll it, you can see now. You're learning functions like extrude, and I wanted this to be 4 inches by 4 inches. So I'm learning how to, make the scale of the part. And as you can see here in the picture, the image I made to extrude that on a base. And you're learning, eventually to get myself to a point where I can make parts and custom parts for my projects. You know, Art is one way to do it. So I, I ended up with this. Um, let's just try to kind of roll that so you guys can kind of see. Um, just something kind of fun to do. All right, and I printed it, and my first iteration. Um, this is what I ended up with. Basically, a stencil. Well, excuse me, it wasn't a stencil. What ended up happening was the printer attempted in free space to start to extrude the image on this base, but it can't just print in thin air. So when I realized it was making a mess in here, I stopped it and I just cleared it out. And I was going to throw it away, and I was showing my wife, and she was like, "You made a stencil." Which is something you can do with 3D printing. There's people that sell stencils online. So, anyways, I kept it. I sent this to my friend Jay, who works in SolidWorks professionally. Um, I had a theory, which it turned out it was wrong. He looked at it and just said, looking at it, this is what I think is wrong. So I went and looked at what he said. Um, I went back into SolidWorks, and his theory was correct. Um, when I put the background on the image, I used the function. I can't think of the name of the function. Maybe it'll come to me here real quick. Let me go back to. Oh, it's because it's on features. How come I'm not seeing it? Maybe because I'm not editing the sketch right now. I'm not seeing it. I can't think of the term. Oh, I use convert entities. And I think what happened was, is a working theory, is that, the base is one sketch and this is another sketch. When I converted the two entities, it kind of like, it extruded into the other direction and made this so that it was still going to print. It was still going to print on top of my stencil. But so what I ended up having to do was basically separating the ghost into two separate things. I made this 4x4 base, which was a solid base, and then I put my ghost over it as a separate sketch and extruded it. So I made a base, okay, a 4x4 base. I extruded the base, and then I put my image over it, and then I extruded that on top of the base. Okay, and then I ended up with the final product. A solid And this can be made bigger. I was just doing 4x4, but as you can see now, turn on my light, maybe that'll help. I don't know. Couple things I gotta fix. See that there? I think that is within the 3D printing software. On how that's done, I don't know yet. But overall, I think I got the design pretty much down. I just need to fix how that fills in a little bit. Like I said, I think that's a setting in my 3D printer software. I want that to be filled in solid, much like how the ghost is filled in. I was just trying to get the light, much how the ghost is filled in nicely, but it seems like when it gets down to the finer details, it's struggling a little bit. But anyways, so my hope is, that I could print this multicolor if I wanted. I just did a single color to proof out my concept. But yeah, so anyways, I kept this. I didn't really save the file, but I kept this. I don't know what I'll end up doing with it, but this was version 1. This is where the intended... This is what the intended design was supposed to be. My hope is that maybe maybe I could print these. I'm going to try today to print these in different colors. Or my other hope is that I could print it multicolor like this. But just to keep things kind of simple, I just did one color. So anyways, just wanted to show you guys that. Thanks for watching.